Hello, dear leader. My name is Samuel Eyim, Chief Leadership Coach at the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa, and I have an important invitation for you. Why are some nations developed and thriving, while others are underdeveloped and struggling? Why are some businesses flourishing and others languishing? Why are some churches growing and others dying? These are important questions for leaders. So are you a leader? At what level are you leading? What impact are you making? What is your understanding and concept of leadership? The way you think about leadership is the way you do leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is the cause, all others are the effect. So, at the Center for Transformational Leadership, we've created this program to help you transform your understanding of leadership. This program is going to be based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. As a John C. Maxwell certified coach, I'm going to walk you through these laws, and we're going to give you exercises and activities around these laws to help install a new transforming concept of leadership for you. This will change the way you do leadership completely. So I invite you to check our website and our social media pages and to register for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program. This program is on 2 levels. The first level is understanding the laws of leadership, where we are going to walk you through the laws of leadership in 3 to 5 days. And this will give you the foundations of leadership. The second level is walking the laws of leadership. Here, we take you through a 15-week journey through the laws of leadership. Every week, you will have opportunity to study one law, apply the law throughout the week, meditate upon it, do the exercises, and regroup with other like-minded people who are learning the laws of leadership, exchange ideas, and share your lessons. So do not miss this opportunity. Register now for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program.
Hello everyone, my name is Elsie and I'm excited that I just completed a 15-week journey with the CTL Africa team on the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell.
From the law of pain, I also learned that every problem introduces a person to himself. Honestly, till you face a problem, you wouldn't know the things that you actually have within you.
The journey for me personally was a wake-up call. Before I joined this journey, I wasn't actually learning at all. I wasn't adding any logic to what I knew.
So the law of trade-off is saying that you have to give up to grow up. So things that I think are not going to have maximum impact on my life, I have to trade them off.
I want to grow. I am not stopping now. I am continuing. And as far as I'm concerned, like it says, you cannot give what you don't have. I definitely will have to give what I have learned off to others and then get more so that I can continue giving. I am not going to be a reservoir. I am going to be a river, and therefore I'm going to continue learning to be able to give of my best.
Ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results on a consistent basis if they have a system, if they have a plan.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm excited to be with you this evening. We're going to have a blast this evening. We're going to share a fantastic story. We're going to learn from different angles. We are going to learn on leadership. We're going to learn on business. We're going to learn on corporate life. And the team at CTL is ready. Thank you, team, for bringing us the leadership platform every Saturday. So I want to encourage you, if you are online, to introduce yourself. Just 1 second. All right. Introduce yourself and tell us where you are joining from, and let us know why you are here, what your expectations are. We'll be very happy to share to the world. We also encourage you to share the links to your friends, to your colleagues, to your bosses, to your team members, family members, because we're going to learn so many things this evening and it will be of use to them. We need to grow ourselves as leaders, and we need to build others. And that is why this platform is here. We are on LinkedIn Live. We are on Facebook. So go to our Facebook and like our pages. We are on YouTube Live. Go subscribe to our channel. There's so many of these sessions out there for you. So please do that and let's know how you are doing. All right. So I can see already on the call, I'm seeing Zuwera Mashud is on. Tell us where you are calling from. Seiram Bequin is also here. It says, good evening to everyone. Albert Donko is here. He says, another day to add value to myself. Indeed, we are here to add value to you and to others. Patience Antonio is here. Patience Antonio from East Legon Hills. Thank you, Patience, for being here. We have Kwesi from Abokobi. All right, Kwesi from Abokobi is here. Beatrice Kwekudia is here. Auntie B, you are very welcome from North Carnation. We are happy to have you. I can see Eunice Teko Ofori is here and say hello, Sam. Hello, Eunice. You are welcome to the leadership platform. I see Joyce Odo is here. And, Joyce, you are very welcome to the leadership platform. All right. And Eunice is saying, sending you love from my hometown, Somenya. All right. Yes. So what are you bringing us? We have Mrs. Cynthia Oforiata is here from Carissa Foundation, ready for a great learning experience. I have my friend Conrad is here. He says this will be a great interaction. All right, good. And Willie Gray is here. All right, from Pobiman. Good. So please go ahead and introduce yourself. All right, so I have Susanna Latte is here. All right, from Women's World with Mama Susie. All right, Mama Susie, great. One of these days, you will have to bring you on this platform to share your experiences on your program with us. Atu Ampon is here. He says hello. Right. People, this evening we have a very interesting speaker. As we announced last week, this month following. Actually, by the way, let me just say Happy Father's Day in advance to all of fathers everywhere, and may God bless you to continue the good work you're doing for the world. But this few weeks since last week, we are focusing on women leadership. the men have led us for so long, and we want to see what our women are bringing. We had a brilliant presentation on leading as a woman last week. And this week, we are bringing another woman. We're bringing her from a different dimension. We want her to tell us her story as a woman leader and what she's doing. And interesting thing is that our speaker today is relatively young for African standards. She's quite young because she's under 40, but she's doing some amazing things, and that gives us hope that things are going to be better for us in the future, because we see a lot of young people doing great things, and we pray that when they take over this country, we're going to have a different story about our leadership. We're going to change this country and make it better. So we're excited about our speaker. Since she's going to tell us a lot about herself, I would not like to say too much about her. I will just bring her on board, and we'll have just a little interaction, just to only to tell you that our speaker has many parts, and since I met her, I'm loving her even more for what she's doing. And hey, by the way, just disclosure, she sent me very nice Tuozaafi, and I want to, by the time we finish, but it's finished, the Tuozaafi is finished, so if you want some, you have to call her to give you. But she's a mother, she's a corporate person running an organization across about 17 African countries as a West Africa or Africa head of the organization that she's running, providing different healthcare services. She's a pharmacist by training and by profession, and she's been in marketing and sales for about 15 years, doing all sort of things. And she's an entrepreneur, created her business and that's why we want to hear a bit more, in a very innovative way, transform what is ordinary business of selling Tuozaafi by the streets that we all know into something interesting and making the waves. So our speaker this evening, Miriam Bedu, is going to tell us a bit more about herself, what you do, what moves her, what motivates her, how she's able to combine all these things at the same time. So on that note, I'm going to just invite my friend Miriam Bedu on stage. Miriam, you're very welcome to the Leadership Platform.
Thank you, Mr. Yim, and good evening to everyone.
All right, I respond on their behalf. Good evening. So Miriam, you are very welcome to the Leadership Platform. We are excited and we are really waiting for your story. So just to kickstart, just tell us a bit more about, where you are from in the part of the country, where you grew up briefly, and let's know you a bit closely on that level.
Sure, thank you. So as you already mentioned, I'm Miriam Bedu. The Bedu is my husband's name. I'm partly Fanti, partly Northern, from Navrongo in the Upper East region. I grew up in the north, specifically in Tamale. So I speak most of the northern languages. That's my language, which is Kasum, Hausa, a little bit of Dagbanli, and then for P when you come to the other side. But I'm not so good in the Fanti language. Yeah, but currently I stay in Accra with my family.
All right, great. Thank you so much. So you say you grew up in Tamale.
Correct.
So how was life when you were growing up?
Yeah. Well, generally, life was okay as a child, and I think it's on one of my slides to give a brief summary of how life was for me and how that shaped me and helped me to come to where I am. So if you don't mind, I'll share more of that during the presentation.
Wonderful. So what we are going to do, we are going to allow Miriam to share briefly, do a short presentation, and then we will come back. And guys, get ready with your comments, with your questions, and let's all digest and dissect her story, pick all the lessons we can pick from her before she goes away. Thank you very much. So go ahead and take the stage and share your presentation with us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sharing my screen now. You let me know once you see it.
So we can see
See
your
my
screen.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so yeah.
So this is the story heading towards the Muna Tuozzaafi journey. And at the end of this, we should be able to know basically where I came from, what I entered into, how my career journey started, and how I'm currently doing. So basically, growing up as a child, I was all the kind of things that most parents wouldn't want their kids to be. Why do I say that? Well, I was very reserved. I was so aloof, so I didn't have friends. I was extremely shy to the extent that sometimes I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me, or I just wanted to be in my own corner, no one to bother me. And that also made me a bit timid. And of course, based on all these, it ultimately made me feel so insecure. But one good thing I know was that I was very observant. And so I used to observe things around me, people around me, how things happened, why they happened, and all that. And I always put thoughts into it to see how that could help me. But how did that transition into who I am today? Well, there are so many factors that have played a role in this. And as you can see from my slide, one of them I always talk about is fighting against all odds. Why do I say this? So, back in 2020, when I was just entering into secondary school, that's senior high now, my mom lost her job, and the flats that her employers gave us, we were evacuated from the place. She worked in a financial institution, and they froze her account. And I mean, we were not rich, neither were we poor. We were just okay. But all of a sudden, our world came crashing down. And that was when I'd also gained admission. And for her employers, once your children excel in the BEC, they are given a full scholarship. And I did receive a letter congratulating me and letting me know I was on a full scholarship. However, because of the unfortunate circumstances we found ourselves in, that is, she losing her job and all that, that package was also cancelled. So I remember being back in school in the boarding house in Cape Coast when she came to tell me that my scholarship had been cancelled. And it was there and then that I faced my first major hurdle, because that meant that it's either it was going to make me or unmake me. But that would depend on what my next steps would be. So what did I do? I did a lot of praying. I also got support from my mom, and a decision was made. It's a long story, but to cut it short, I was able to get in touch with key people in the country, two key personalities in the country, through letter writing, and then that verdict was overturned and my scholarship was given to me. So that was how I was able to complete my secondary school education with a full scholarship. And it was then that it dawned on me that yes, I mean, things may seem impossible, but until you make things happen yourself, you don't fully depend on others to make things happen for you, then nothing is going to happen at all. Secondly, too, I realized that in life, it's important that you are more proactive than being reactive. And why do I say this? And I also have another example with that. Back in my final days in the university in Kumasi, I really did some research, and there was a facility in Accra where I wanted to do my internship. I checked with people thinking they could help influence the decision there so that I'll be posted there. But guess what? It did not succeed because they all told me they wouldn't be able to influence that decision. So, did I just fold my arms waiting for something to happen? No. I decided that I was going to make it happen. I was going to make sure that where I want to work, I will work there. So, school hadn't vacated, but I took a bus from Kumasi to Accra, went to the facility, did not know the head, told them I wanted to see the head, discussed with the person, and the person was impressed with my boldness. So he helped, and then guess what? I did my internship. They actually started 3 months earlier than the normal internship period. And that also made me appreciate the fact that one always has to be proactive to make things happen and not wait for things to happen for them to complain. The other point too had to do with looking for opportunities. And it's through this looking for opportunities that this Muna Tuozzaafi brand came into existence. And I'll go into much detail with that in my subsequent slides. And of course, there's some other business upcoming that's also quite exciting that I'm currently working on with my business partners, and I'm able to juggle all these. It's called MaxCard Africa. Soon, students and people in the corporate world will get to know about it and the kind of impact that we're trying to achieve with regards to that. So, looking for opportunities, you don't have to just sit there for opportunities to open their eyes to you. No, there are so many things happening around us. Just observe. What can you make an impact in? What can you help to solve? What can you help for people to know, feel, use, and see that, wow, this really made a difference? Then there is the going the extra mile, and that is part and parcel of me. In everything I do not do the norm because I know that going the extra mile would defy all purposes. Everyone can do what is normal. So, what would differentiate you from the other person? It's you going beyond the 100%. It could be 101%, it could be 150%, but just make sure that it's not the normal 100%. And I've seen benefits in this because when you look across the multinational companies I've worked in, at every stage in time, within 3 years, I'm promoted. Within 3 years, I'm promoted. And that's really played a major role, letting me know that yes, never do the normal, always go the extra mile. And lastly, too, I've come to have a ready to learn and a can do spirit or attitude. Why do I say this? Well, most often you have your subordinates or people lower than you either in terms of education and all, but sometimes we feel that we should know everything. There are so many things that we are all learning day in and day out. And there are people who know certain things based on their educational background, based on their experience and all. So we can always learn from each other. So once we are able to humble ourselves to learn from everyone, people are always happy to open up their hearts to teach you certain things. So these things in a nutshell, and coupled with the fact that the environment I found myself later in life, the people I met, and the kind of places I worked in shaped my mentality and my mindset to the extent that I am currently where I am, and to the extent that I'm even able to also have another business going on. So, on this slide, what do I leave to you today? What do I leave to you today? So, as you listen, look at some of the things I've highlighted here. What aspect of your life or your career is drawing you back? It's making it look like it's impossible to achieve something, or it's making you think that no, you cannot be proactive enough again. Or better still, the opportunities, but you think those opportunities are not for you, but for the other person. Or what are the extra things you can go extra mile to make things happen? Well, think through all these, at least choose one of the pointers, and then ask yourself, what practical steps can I take to bring it back on track? I think it will be very, very informative to you and a true introspection once you do this exercise. And don't expect that you get your answer in a day or in a week. I mean, it varies depending on what it is or the circumstances you find yourself in. You could get your answer in a week, in a month, a year, some few years, but be realistic and practical, and then most importantly, work towards that. In light of all that I've mentioned, what then, as a woman, are some of the challenges I've faced both in the corporate side and me bringing it into the entrepreneurial aspect of Muna Tuozzaafi? Basically, most of the things we women we are aware of. We talk of fear, ego, and corporate politics. Yes, we know how some of the men can be, to the extent that there are periods whereby you are a boss to a male person, and the person, because of their background, the environment they found themselves, or the kinds of people they engaged or interacted with, they do not see women as leaders or their managers. And so sometimes you can have some form of friction from that angle. It is normal, but it doesn't mean that it should remain that way. There are several things you can do to diffuse that situation. You can have a one on one discussion with the person, let the person know their strengths, your strengths, areas that both of you can collaborate on, and most importantly, the overall objective all of you are looking at into achieving as a team. There's also the guilt of motherhood. And I remember with my kids, I mean, when I was pregnant, especially the second one, I tried very hard to do exclusive breastfeeding. So when it was time for me to go to work, she wasn't used to the bottle feeding. And so she wouldn't eat till I get back home. And then she would just latch on me like that, sucking the breast milk. And it made me feel so guilty and so bad that, wow, should I quit and be a stay-at-home mom and take care of her well? But the good thing is that I've had a very strong support system. My husband, my sister, my relatives, my in-laws, they've all been very supportive, and I've been able to navigate that well. And that also ties into expectations from the family. Sometimes our corporate life takes so much toll on us that society or family thinks that we are neglecting our core duties as women at home. How do we navigate that? But like I mentioned earlier on, when you have a strong support system in your husband, relatives, you are able to navigate that. And most of the roles that I actually go into, my husband is the one who gives me 1,001 reasons why I'll be able to succeed in those roles. So he's really been a strong support for me. There's then the other aspect of belittling microaggressions. Sometimes people taking you for a junior or a little person. And it happens to me a lot because even way back when I was in uni, second year, a primary school class 6 pupil thought I was her classmate. She never believed that I wasn't even in JSS, SHS, but I was in the uni second year. And it was because of my physique and my voice. So sometimes people don't take you seriously, but how do you navigate that? I've found ways to go about it to also diffuse tense situations when it comes to that part of it. Work flexibility, employee well-being, it's something I've really cherished because it also helps with your mental health. Unfortunately, most of the places that I've worked in, even before COVID, that people appreciated the remote working or hybrid working, I've had that form of flexibility to know how to do stuff to the extent that when it's work time, it's solely work time for me. So I try to balance to have that work life balance. Then there's the diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is something that is talked about a lot now to ensure that, I mean, there's equality among all, and the gender pay gap, which is a whole topic on its own. But these are some of the things that as women in the corporate world we face. And these are the things that when I encountered them, I was able to navigate through to help me. And I decided to see how I could also channel that into the new business of the Muna Tuozzaafi. And to highlight all that I've been doing, uh, I think this part hasn't come well. Let me show the screen again, if you don't mind. A minute, please. Mr. Yim, can you help me here? Do you see the slide on recognition?
I see this. I see just the recognition. So we will get that up right away. And as we're going to go into the recognition, let's just get a quick video whilst Muna sorts that slide out. So Kofi, take up, give us the Muna's video. All right, let's
This
see.
is Miriam Bedu, CEO of Muna Tuozzaafi. I realized that most of the focus was on the rice dishes, and most of them were packaged very nicely. But when you research into Tuozaafi, which is a delicacy by the Northerners, I'm a Northerner, and having those roots, I thought it's intriguing to at least venture into that kind of business. With this Muna Pack concept, there's so much excitement on the market. Anyone who has seen it is so fascinated by the packaging. The pack alone is inviting.
Right. Okay. So, Muna, this is the screen, this is the slide you wanted, right? Hello?
I can't see your screen.
You
Yes.
you can't see my screen. Let me just.
So what I see is what I see is the leadership platform.
What you see is what? What do you
The
see?
leadership platform. The
Okay.
background. The background I see is the leadership platform.
Okay. So, because I'm sharing your slides that I got. Let's see, Richmond, if you're able to share a different slide. But okay, but you can go through the recognitions that you've had because I can see plenty of them. as we go. But maybe double click on your slide.
Yes,
If
I
you
think it
go,
came. I think it came on. Yeah, I
yeah,
think it came
okay,
on. Yes, this one.
all
Yeah.
right, so that's
Thank
fine.
you. Yeah. So these are some of the recognitions and awards I've received in the various companies I worked in. And I quite
Mhm.
remember for my first multinational company, that was AstraZeneca. The team in Ghana were hesitant to pick females, but they were pushed to pick, and I was one of the two females they took. So you can imagine what that meant. It meant doing more than the usual to ensure that females could be recognized as being capable as what the men could do. And I can proudly say that as at the time I left the company, there were more females than there were males. And my recent award was from BD, my current company, where I'm just about 14 months, so less than 2 years into the company. So this are just to highlight some of the things that I was recognized for based on my hard work, my dedication, and my commitment. Next slide, please. Yes. So, how did all these help with the start of Muna Tuozzaafi? So, Muna actually started somewhere in 2019 as Muna Tuozzaafi. Muna is the name of we used to, I mean, when we have meals or get friends, we usually prepare to. So my sister and I decided that, okay, what we will do is anytime there's an occasion and someone is in need of the Tuozaafi to be part of the menu, we'll go in and serve. So that was what we were doing from 2019. And Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana, our mother body, who is very supportive when it comes to businesses, pharmacist owned businesses, gave us our first big business in 2019 during our annual AGM here in Accra. And quite a number of people really enjoyed the meal. Then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, we were thinking, how can we move Tuozaafi to people at their offices in such a manner that it will get there warm, well packaged, nice, for them to feel okay eating it just as they'll be proud eating the rice dishes and the rest. So our first packaging, there are multiple things my husband and I had to think through. This was one of the almost final things we packaging we thought would go for the Muna Tuozzaafi. It never came to the market. We still have those around because we realized that it wasn't really what we wanted to send to people. So we had to use about 2 years to go back, do our homework, research, and all that. And that gave birth to us rebranding and coming back stronger as Muna Tuozzaafi, which is on the next slide. And you will see the difference between what you see here as Memuna Tuozzaafi and then the Muna Tuozzaafi. You see the packaging is solid. Those who see it always exclaim that, wow, this is very beautiful, because most often when we see something of a picture, a product in a picture form, we tend to get disappointed when the actual thing comes in. But that's not the case with our Muna brand, because we put so much love, so much dedication, so much passion, so much enthusiasm to bring this onto the market. And that is what we currently do as Muna. The next slide will also share some of the feedback we've had from people. I really enjoyed I really enjoyed it. Keep it up. And someone also mentioned that the TZ from Harvard, this was approved by WHO. And all in all, I mean, these are comments that we are getting each and every time, whether it's on the packaging, on the food, and all that. But this hasn't come easily. There have been challenges we've encountered as a company. And I must admit that I have also a strong team from Muna Tuozzaafi, from the chef who is my sister, to the operations manager, logistics officer, to the riders and all. I mean, they are very dedicated, and so they've also brought us this far. And so the next slide will also highlight some of the challenges we faced as a food delivery company. Timely delivery of food. That has been a big problem. When we started, we encouraged pre-orders. You order a day before. At least that way, by 10:30, latest 11, 12, people would have had their foods delivered. And it was really working well. But it got to a time people started complaining that no, sometimes when it gets to the day, they don't feel like eating this food again. Their taste buds change, so they'll prefer to order on that same day. So we have some placing orders in the afternoon at 12, and those are peak times that riders have also gone out on delivery. So you have to wait for a rider, which takes about 2 hours. They come back, get to the person, and I mean, time would have gone. That has been a challenge we've had. We are working with multiple riders though, but for the peak time, sometimes you can't really determine. But there's been a lot of improvements from this angle as well, because my team has gotten a list of more riders to engage with. Also, accuracy in terms of address for delivery. We know we are still getting there in terms of technology. Sometimes you are busy, you're in a meeting, and the rider is calling you, keeps calling you, you're either presenting, talking, and all, you can't pick the call. And when you pick and give the direction, the rider gets there and it's not there. I mean, all those inconveniences. Then the weather conditions in the rainy season. Sometimes it rains heavily in my area where we are in Adenta, and someone in town is expecting their food, but because of the rains, the rider is not able to leave early, and it also causes inconveniences. Talk of effective communication between us and then the customers, our operational cost. You see the packaging, it's so much expensive compared to what we also add. I mean, in terms of the food, the meat, we even have a table mat so that those in the offices, if you have white desk and all, you put the table mat before you put your food on it. It doesn't soil it. You don't have to do more work after eating the food. And we also try to have the leaves that are buying on the TZ, so you have the natural feeling and taste and all. And sometimes some riders, to be depending on the type of roads they have to go to, the road is so bumpy, and by the time they get to the customer, some of the food has spilled, so they have to come back, and then we have to replace at no cost for them to go this time, be very careful, and then get the food delivered. We also do have the issue of people mentioning that they want to have an eatery, they want to come and sit at the place to eat, and because where they are, it's not so convenient and all that. So these are multiple of the challenges that we encounter as Muna Tuozzaafi. And to buttress this, we've worked on quite a lot of things to ensure that people get their foods on time. And in terms of the eatery too, we've identified a location, and hopefully in the next coming months, we should be up and running to have a cozy, natural ambience environment or space for people to walk in and then eat. Next slide, please. In terms of the benefits of being an entrepreneur, what I've come to appreciate, and that's also one of the things that drives me into this, it's that it's caused some form of job creation. So there are people I've employed who also have dependents. So they are actually also able to take care of their dependents. It's also been able to foster some form of networking and collaboration with various stakeholders, and the kind of impact and legacy I'm beginning to feel. Because when it comes to Tuozaafi, I mean, can you believe that someone will be having a special occasion, will be there, and then a rider comes, someone ordered Tuozaafi for you, specially for you, and they are so happy, they are so excited. Imagine, oh, just Tuozaafi that in those days you think it was in rubber and you go like, oh, but this time it's like bougie, like it's with some flex, and it's at least helping people know that it's possible to make things in an innovative way and more presentable to people. It's also helped me with my personal and my professional growth. And I mean, for creativity and innovation, it helped my team and I to also be able to come up with more ideas. Did you even know that for those who have ever seen our TZ package, did you even know that the table mat, we have a QR code on it? When you scan on it, it takes you straight to place an order. So there are quite a lot of innovative stuff that we are doing every now and then. And then the variety and excitement that comes with it, the personal satisfaction I get when people tell me that, oh wow, this is good, this is that. And we have people from abroad who've heard of us in the US, the UK especially. They, when they get to Ghana and they are not even able to get the opportunity to taste our food, on the day they have to travel, they make sure that they taste our food because of the so much noise they've heard about it. And of course, the financial rewards. We've not gotten to the financial rewards yet because, yes, we still have high operational cost and all. But we know that for every business and as an entrepreneur, it's a phase. You don't go into business immediately expecting to make profits. It's a phase. Once you fix it and work on everything, everything falls into place. Next slide, please. So, this is my last slide. What am I saying in my last slide? I'm re-echoing what I said earlier on. So dare to fight against all odds, even if they seem impossible. Be proactive and not reactive. Look for opportunities. And do not settle for the normal, what everybody is doing. Try to always go the extra mile and also have a ready to learn and a can do attitude. So I re-echo these other words too on your task. Which aspect of your life or career is drawing you back? You've heard my story, my journey. It's a long one, but this is a summary to let you appreciate my journey. So, based on this, what practical steps are you going to take to bring your life, your career back on track? So, as we always confirm to people when they make payments for the Muna Tuozzaafi, on this note, I use this last picture as thank you for this.
This is Miriam Bedu, CEO of Muna Tuozzaafi. I realized that most of the focus was on the rice dishes, and most of them were packaged very nicely. But when you research into Tuozaafi, which is a delicacy by the Northerners, I'm a Northerner, and having those roots, I thought it's intriguing to at least venture into that kind of business. With this Muna Pack concept, there's so much excitement on the market. Anyone who has seen it is so fascinated by the packaging. The pack alone is inviting.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are going to go close up with Miriam, and she's going to tell us some of the background stories. So stay tuned because she's just giving you just the headlines, and we're going to have a few. But get your own questions also ready because Muna is able to answer all your questions. And as she said, you know, when we were engaging Muna for this, and I mean, she was telling me all the things she has done. And I paused and I said, Muna, by the way, how old are you? I mean, how can you? I mean, how long have you been on this earth to have done all this? And I can assure you, let no one lie to you that life begins at 40. She's done all this and she's under 40. I'm not going to disclose her age because I didn't get her permission to do that. But all this is done under 40. And as she says, I mean, because of her stature and her voice, which is the baby voice, baby face and everything, people think that she's like 15 still. And she's 15, by the way. All right, so we're going to get close. She's taking a few moments of rest, and we'll come back to her. But let me see quickly who is here. There's so many people here, so many here. Great comments coming up. So I guess we would give more opportunity for people to ask questions. But Atuampo is here. Henry Amwate is here. I have Mami Ifua Sakite Williams is here. She say hello everyone. I'm excited to learn new things today. And we have Lydia Odro is here from Kumasi. We have Livingston is here. Hello everyone. I have Ansadi Ventures is here. Benamwako is here from Kumasi. Also Dennis Ahe is here. From Sakumono, we have Kwekuda 4. So many of you, I can see you. I can see Doris Akin say, thank God for another wonderful day. All right. And Eunice says, the tales of life. Rosie today and tears tomorrow. Yes. Back on some of the things that Miriam was sharing. Evans Odum is here. And Eunice is learning a lot. He says being proactive is an essential skill. All right. Abel says this is solid. Kwame JB from the UK says great to be back and great presentation as usual, he says. Priscilla Ajay says Mimi, a strong, solid woman. Shadrach Ousu, we can see the recognitions, all those great achievements for Miriam. And I see Mrs. Ofore Atta is so happy with you. He says he's proud of you, lady pharmacist. Aram Agozi says, what a journey, Miriam. I'm inspired. And that's the objective here, to inspire all of us to go beyond our potentials. And I like it. He says, give it more than your 100, because if you do 100, that's what everybody is doing. He says, very good nugget to take. That's Halima Sagito Hajia. He says, thank you, Muna. All right, so we'll come back. We'll invite Miriam back. Let's take a quick short break if Kofi is ready. And then we will come back with Muna. Close up. We're going to go behind the curtains now. All right. Hi, dear friend. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey. Great. See you on the growth journey. Currently, we have 2 streams of the growth journey running. So many people wanted to participate. And what I can tell you about the growth journey, everybody of every stream is 15 people. So currently we have just under 30. I think we have our 26 people on the 2 streams. Every one of them who is on the stream now has come because somebody on the stream earlier recommended them. The people who go on the growth journey, by the time they finish the growth journey, they feel like, why is everybody not here? Why are we hearing this for the first time? And a lot of them tell me, but Sam, I mean, for 15 weeks, you are charging 1,800. We're getting so much more than what we are paying. And I mean, some of the people have actually sent me money after the program and say they just want to support the program. I want to encourage everyone who is on. For now, we are running the 2 streams, and so we will take the next stream, but you can register and hold on. But for now, we are with Muna, who is actually grown beyond herself at her age. So let's see if you have some questions for Muna, and I have plenty of them for her. Muna, you are a corporate executive. You are a businesswoman running Muna, and others are coming. You are a mother. You told me you're a mother of 3, confirm it?
Correct.
Mother of 3. You're a wife, and so, these complicated men that, God created for you women. Now tell me, how do you juggle all this? And I mean, and you told me your role as country manager for your organization, you're covering 17 countries. Is that right?
Yes.
So tell me a bit more. I mean, open up a bit on the details of what's your day like? How do you do all these things?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So you need a lot of planning and you need to be organized. You need a solid team, a team that you are confident in, and a team that you can delegate tasks. So as you are delegating tasks to them, it's relieving you, and at the same time, it's developing them for the next role. So on a daily basis, what I usually do is that before I go to bed, it's a norm, it's standard for me. I have to look at my calendar because I need to plan my day the next day. So sometimes when impromptu things come in, they destabilize me a bit, but I try to fix them in. Once I look at my calendar for the activities I need to do take place. Combining it with the Muna, as I mentioned earlier on, I have a team and I strongly believe in strong teams and getting the right people who are committed, who have the passion and the zeal to realize your set objectives together. And so, even with my team, it took a lot of scrutinizing to put them together, and they are very solid. So, on a day to day basis, they manage the operations. My sister, with her team in the kitchen, yes, they are very solid. My operations manager, she too, she's very solid. My logistics officer, my riders, they are solid, and they know what has to be done, and I've given them the level of decision making such that when it goes beyond that, then they come to me and then we make a verdict or decide on what to do. So in a nutshell, strong teams have helped me, delegation has helped me, and planning and organizing myself has helped me. And lastly, my husband. And like I say, he's always been my support system. It's also been helpful, as well as my nanny at home.
Wonderful. Now, give us a peek into your corporate life also. 17 countries. Obviously, there'll be Francophone, Anglophone. So how do you tell us a bit more about that role also?
Okay, so that's actually a tedious role because when I came into the role, I joined last year in April. I came in as territory manager for French West Africa. But within 6 to 7 weeks, I had been promoted to include English West Africa, someone that was being onboarded. And it was because of this proactiveness I talk about. So, yes, it was a different terrain. It wasn't a farmer terrain, which I had a lot of experience in. This terrain is the medical diagnostics terrain, even though the concepts of sales and marketing is basic across the technicalities I had to learn at a faster rate. And I have teams. So most of my teams are based in Ghana. I have another one based in Senegal who also together with me manages the French speaking markets. So on a daily basis, aside the meetings I have, the administrative tasks I have, I also go on the field with my team to visit some of the healthcare professionals to see what is happening, to visit our distributors, to have, strategic meetings on how to go about things. So, in as much as normally I'm supposed to do like an 8 to 5 job, my schedule is a bit flexible because sometimes I can start work as early as 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m., and I can close at 10 p.m. and all. But for me, the flexibility part of it has been very instrumental. Whatever the case, the work has to be done and has to be done very well. And the teams too there have also been supportive.
I see. What about the language, the French, English? How have you managed that and navigated? You speak French?
Paul, je parle un peu français, pas beaucoup, but it's okay to take me
Oh, that's
through.
already good.
It's okay
Really?
to take me through to communicate with my customers, and sometimes too when it goes deeper, I fall on translation apps to do the translation. But on the normal day to day, I'm fine. I'm okay with the French.
Wonderful. And I mean, this un peu de français, you were just picking it just when you went into this role, or you knew it before?
Well, I've always loved French as a kid, and any opportunity I get to learn French, I try to learn it. So it started back when I was at MEC. I went to MEC as a sales manager, and then that one, I think within a year, I was promoted to manage the French markets. And that was my first role into the French market. So I became more serious with the learning of French because at MEC, I had 7 people across 5 countries. I had 2 in Cote d'Ivoire, 1 in Senegal, 1 in Gabon, 1 in Congo, 1 in Mali, and they were all speaking French. So I had to be able to navigate across through all of them.
Wow. Now, somebody has asked the question, and I mean, he asked, what did you study in university? You said you're a pharmacist, and now your role is more of a sales role. So, how did you move from, and you told us earlier that you were very timid. You wanted even to the earth to open for you to go inside. How did you come out from the belly of the earth and now selling everywhere, 17 countries, and so on? How did that transition uh, happen? Do you have some
Okay.
sales training? What happened?
Okay, so yes, by profession, I'm a pharmacist, so I'm a B farm holder. And after my internship, when I qualified as a pharmacist, my first job was in a pharmaceutical company, which is AstraZeneca. And over there, the role was for a sales and marketing role. So I was trained in the company, and the multiple companies I've worked in at any point in time, I am trained. And like I mentioned, I'm a fast learner and I'm always ready and willing to learn. And I always look up to people who are excelling in certain fields, especially in my field of sales and marketing. So even when I meet people outside Ghana and they are doing well, I try to communicate with them. I try to find what they are doing. And when I come back, I adopt it and modify it to suit the market. So, in terms of any additional formal education, be it a master's certification as Chartered Institute of Marketing, Ghana or UK, no. Fortunately, I have to disappoint you. I don't have any of that, but I have
No, that's not a disappointment.
so
Actually,
much
you just,
experience.
somebody said that, it's better to deserve a recognition and not get it than to get a recognition and not deserving it. At this point, you deserve, you have everything. You don't need that certificate for anything. So we are proud of you guys. I believe you're learning a bit more from this behind the scene discussion that we are having. This is really great, to be able to move from a more like a technical role to a marketing and sales role and still keep your profession. Now, as we're talking, we talked a bit about family. I remember I had a CFO in my former role who was a woman, and we're supposed to go to Nigeria. We're in Togo to Nigeria for some work. And as we're driving to the border uh, between Togo and Benin, she had a call. Her daughter has some problem or hurt in school, and they were calling her to come and pick her daughter because it was serious. Now, there was no way she was going to go back because we said to be in Nigeria, in Lagos, for a meeting. Women, children, it was crazy. Now, tell us, how have you had that? The children, you mentioned a bit of that. 3 children over this short period of your life. What are some of the backstories that you can share to encourage us, especially the women going through this uh, challenges, and they are combining? Some have to leave their jobs for years and come back, and their promotion has retarded and so on. Tell us a bit. How have you done all this?
Well, okay, thank you for that. And that one too, as I'll say, I still give the commendation to my husband, my sister, and some of my nannies as well. But at the same time, there have been occasions where some of my kids have been on admission, and I've had an important project to work on with specific deadlines. So yes, I go to I go on admission with them, but I have my laptop, I have my internet connection. So as they are sleeping, I'm also working and juggling between making sure they are okay and going back to the work. So it hasn't been all rosy and all that. But as I keep saying, when you have a strong support system, because the next day my husband comes to take over for me to quickly go home to do what I have to do, and then we swap all over again. So even though it's not been smooth, it's been worth it, and it's also taught me a lot.
Wow. You told me a story about one of your babies in between and things like that, you know, having to combine that and deliver and all those things.
Yes.
Interesting. You want to share that?
Oh yeah, I can share that. So that was when I gave birth to my second child. So
Mm-hmm.
in my first company, there was a very important initiative that we were launching. It was actually on breast cancer, to bring hope to those with breast cancer, to increase screening awareness. Educate people, do the needed referrals, and we were launching. It was such a big deal for us. So my boss and I were the ones working on this project, and I quite remember a week to the time. It was on a Friday. We went to the venue to make sure the venue is fine, to sort out everything. And I was heavily pregnant and I was due any moment. So we finished and we left the venue somewhere after 5. So I drove back home. And that dawn, I was in labor. I was rushed to the hospital and I delivered. I told myself that no, I can't be working on a project that is so dear to my heart and we'll be launching it and I will be absent. So on the day of the launch, people didn't know, my boss didn't know, people didn't know. But I took my 1 week old baby there, and someone was taking care of her at the reception. And I went to do what I had to do. And afterwards, we went back home. So I mean that was some of the things that I did, and
Amazing.
all these things I wasn't doing it for myself. I was
Hmm.
doing it to make an impression that if you are a woman, whether you are pregnant or you've given birth,
Hmm.
you can equally do what a man does, so
Hmm.
that it would diffuse the stereotyping kind of mindset.
Yeah. That's great. And that brings me to that question and of women in leadership. You shared a few things about some of the challenges that women. What advice from all these experiences will you give to women in leadership? How to navigate all this terrain? You've shared a few. Any more that you want to share with the women in particular?
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, globally, you do not find a lot of women in leadership roles, and Ghana is no different. There are various aspects of that. Some, it could be that they want to step back and take care of their families. Talk of the former CEO of YouTube as an example. She
Mhm.
stepped down to take care of her family and her well-being, and sometimes too, because of how do you call it, fear or ego, like I said, within the organization or politics.
Mhm.
You begin to think that you are probably not the right fit, to the
Mhm.
extent that you have what we call an imposter syndrome. It's happened to me before. I've had an imposter syndrome before because I've thought that no, where I am, I did not deserve where I am. But
Hmm.
reflecting back, I realized that no, it wasn't supposed to be an imposter syndrome. It's what I did and what I deserved that got me there. So these are some of the challenges that as women it can inhibit us or make us not go into leadership roles, because also we think we are in our comfort zone.
Mhm.
So yeah, but the good news is that with the right networking, the right support systems with other women in other roles, you get to realize that some of these things, they are normal, but there are
Hmm.
ways you can navigate against them.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm just trying to see if a few people have some questions so that we don't miss out on them. Um, Majesty Kwefi, I don't know if that's the name, says, great presentation, a proud pharmacist. Maxwell Chum Boatin say, Miriam always has something new under her sleeves. Watch out soon for something big and transforming from William. Let's stop there and tell us, because give us a hint of something coming. Can the leadership platform be the first place where this something big was broken?
So, as I mentioned earlier on, yes, we are working on a really exciting product. It's not food, but it's a product that is highly innovative. It's a product that will make networking easier than before. And it's a product that when you have, you feel that yes, you're professional, you feel good, and you have competitive edge over others. I don't want to go into much details because we are yet to launch it, but expect it. The company's name is MaxCard Africa, because it won't just be for Ghana, it's for other African countries as well.
All right, so we will keep this secret. We are not going to tell anybody until Mascot Africa is launched. Thank you so much for breaking that news. And Mauli Atiomo says, Miriam, my former boss, is phenomenal woman. And Mauli, I met Mauli this week when we organized the Made in Africa Leadership Conference, and we had to visit his site. An amazing story. We're going to bring Mauli here one of these days to talk to us about it. Mauli, thank you for coming to support your boss. Thank you so much. Um, I, and Sadi Venture says she made a point that her family were very helpful to her. All right, so that was a point she's made over and over and over. We would come to that briefly. Um, question from women with from Susie. If you are discouraged, Muna, what inspires you to move on in life? Now, because sometimes when you're doing all these great things and people are not, buying into it, or disappointments happen, and they happen all the time, what do you do to get yourself re-inspired?
Yes, and it's happened to me. It's happened to me. I mean, I've questioned myself quite a number of times. I keep asking myself, Miriam, we are okay in the corporate world. Why are you going into the Muna Tuozzaafi?
Mm-hmm.
Come on, when there are challenges and all, you could have been okay leading your comfortable life.
Mm-hmm.
But what keeps me going is one, people are dependent on others in the
Mm-hmm.
sense of the job creation. Two, people have made us appreciate that the product we have on the market is truly innovative, be it the
Mm-hmm.
packaging, be it the taste, be it the health benefits, because we also provide vegetarian dishes in
Mm.
terms of the teasers to go along with it. So these on a daily basis are what motivates me even when I'm down. They put me up, lift me up, and my husband also encourages me, and it's just lifts me up. Because it's not been easy, it's not been a
Yeah.
smooth journey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's it. If you have a vision that inspires you, a vision that takes all your emotions, something bigger than you, it'll always drive you. It keep you out of bed. So thank you so much. You've mentioned your husband quite a bit and the support you have. What does your husband do? And somebody is asking the question also. If you don't have this kind of support, if a woman wants to achieve and doesn't have this kind of support, what advice would you give to these people who don't have Mr. Bedu by their side?
Okay, so well, my husband is an accountant, and he works at Ghana Free Zones Authority. And he's actually my advisor, and I'm the executor. So when it comes to the advice and all, he does, but I do the execution and all that. If you don't have a husband, it doesn't mean that you will not get the support that you need. You
Mm-hmm.
need to find that one person. It could be your mother, your friend, your sister, brother, your colleague, who openly wants your best interest at heart. And you
Mm-hmm.
could let the person be your confidant, because come on, as an island, and I have been there talking about my childhood. I was so reserved and all those things. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a nice experience. So I wouldn't advise for your own mental health to
Mm-hmm.
only have yourself, but have that support system, that one person whom you can rely on and who can help you to get to where you want to be.
Wonderful. We'll come to that, but I just want to exhaust the viewer questions because I want you to share with us what are, apart from the husband, good support, do you have other mentors? Do you have a coach or something has helped you all the way? But let me finish. We'll come back to that because Kwekwama says, very lovely and invigorating story. Great work, Muna Tuozzaafi. And Lydia Odro says, hi, Mona. How was the starting like? And I want you to take this. That is financially venturing into the Tuozaafi business. Did you have the capital ready or you had to manage from the base? You still do the husband is an accountant, plenty cash. What happened?
Okay, so first and foremost, because I'm already into the corporate world and because of what I do, at least I have some funds to
Yeah,
start off something. And then
yeah.
as and when I need something from my husband financially, he also comes in.
Mm-hmm,
um, One or two occasions, my relatives, my auntie who really took care of me, came in to support,
mm-hmm,
and so it hasn't been just me supporting. It had been
mm-hmm,
multiple support systems to get the
mm-hmm.
finances going, to keep the
Yeah.
business going. Yeah.
And by the way, when they come in to support this way, are they coming in as shareholders or they're just dashing you the money?
They are dashing me the money because they believe in my vision. And I mean, that's the good part of it. They believe in my vision. And so they know that if I succeed, they have succeeded. So
Wonderful.
they don't come in as shareholders.
Wow. Charlie, some people are lucky, eh? But you can't be lucky if you're not working hard yourself, because people will not just give you that money if you're not in good things. The proverbs we have, if you are climbing a good tree, then you have people to push you up in a can. Great, great story here. All right. Jennifer says, kudos. I'm encouraged. Thank you so much. Gina Achi says, phenomenal woman you are. You inspire me. This is what we want to achieve. And Patience Antonio says, great sharing. He says, can we get her slice? Of course, you will get a slice. Um, all right, you can be lucky if you push yourself. All right, so I think those are the few points. We have a few more minutes, but so please, if you have some questions or comments, if something I've missed, let me get back. Okay, I have Linda Bannerman Hesse says, this is a great inspiration. Kudos. All right, so that's great. All right, so let me come back. I mean, you've worked in corporate, you're doing your business and so on, and you have the support of family, which is great. But do you have other mentors in, or have you had mentors on the way, or any coaches on the way? You've said that you were trained in your corporate life in so many different ways, but tell us about a bit about that. Who have been some people beyond the family who have been uh, helping you, and how did that work?
Okay, so I've actually had two former bosses who were my mentors. They were men, as in males. So one of the places that I used to work, Bank of Ghana Hospital, Mr. Setremafo, he really taught me very well. He actually initiated me into the career world. He's also a pharmacist, by the way. And then my other boss, William Ofori from AstraZeneca, he saw the potential in me at my first interview when I was even not sure that I'll be able to make it through. And every step of the way, even when I was moving into other roles, he was the mentor that directed me and gave me the right steps to take. Indirectly, I've also had in quotes what I'll call virtual mentors, in the sense
Mhm.
that they don't know they are my mentors, but I usually peek into what they do, and then I tend to learn from them. Yeah, and I mean mostly women.
Wonderful. All right. I have one more question, but let me bring Sarah and let's hear. Then, if I have time, I will ask that question before you give us your closing remark, because we promised that 8:30 we will leave you. But you see, the story about Miriam and Muna and her life, we can, I mean, when we were having the engagement, I had several minutes with her, and we can go on for hours. Truly, truly amazing story. Sarah, what do you think?
I just want to say, Miriam, I'm blown away. And thank you so much for sharing. For me, I'll just give you my takeaways. What I'm hearing you say, yes, you do have your strategies for each of the different areas of your life. However, you created systems. So I'm taking away the systems. For everything, you need to create systems to make it work. And also, you did talk about scheduling. So for me, I'm taking three things away: your strategy, your systems, and then your scheduling. Planning everything, schedule it on your calendar, and especially what I love is the support system. Actually, so it's 4 S's, the support system. Every one of us need a support system. And as Sam will always say, CTL is there to give you that support system. If you need a coach or you need training, don't forget to tune into CTL. Okay, so thank you for really
Thank you,
coming on the
thank you
program.
so much, Sarah, for that. Now, because we are doing this period, we are focusing on women leaders. I always want to ask, what would be your advice to men leaders? As far as women leadership is concerned, your journey, you've talked about some amazing men in your life beyond your husband, the bosses. But what would be your advice to men to be able to encourage other women into achieving such things as you have done? And if you
Thank
may
you.
want to add, I want you to also, because you're in African sense, you're still young. So what would be your advice to young people who are starting careers, who are struggling and sleeping in their room and looking for jobs, and so on and so forth?
Thank you very much for that. So, to men leaders, my advice to them is that do not be threatened by women leaders. They are not after your position. They also have their own focus, and they are all in it with you to achieve one thing. So, anytime you encounter a leader, a woman whom you foresee certain leadership potentials in the person, help direct that person, channel that person well, mentor that person well to get into that role, and do not be threatened by them.
Thank you very much. And to the young people,
Yes, so to the young people, I think I've highlighted a lot. I've noticed that some have a laid back attitude, some feel entitled, and some feel that, the workload is too much. What I would encourage them to do is to take away that mindset, to be proactive. Even if you go to an environment whereby there's not much work to be done, so you wake up, go to the office, you just sit there, there's nothing doing. Try to identify something that can be done there to make that organization more impactful, not just to the people there or to their customers, but ultimately to everybody. So be more proactive, be ready to learn, and go the extra mile.
wonderful. Now, before Miriam gives us a closing remarks, two things I want to share. She has given us some key areas where he says, dare to fight against all odds. We are seeing in her story that it's not been smooth. She's been fighting and fighting and fighting all the way. Be proactive and not reactive. Take your life, take charge of your life. You are in charge of your life, and take charge. Be proactive. It says, look for the opportunities. Opportunities will not come looking for you, but prepare yourself so that when you see the opportunity, you are able to go for it. And always go for the extra mile. Excellence. We just relax too much. We just want to do the average. John Maxwell will say that nobody asks for average. Nobody likes average. Even God doesn't like average people, because he says if you're neither hot nor cold, he will spew you out. So God doesn't like average. You are either hot or you're going beyond it. You never go to a place and ask for the average staff to recruit. You want the best. So be your best. And finally, ready to learn with a can-do attitude. Have the right attitude. But Muna has also given us an assignment, and I want to encourage you, not an assignment, but he says, look into your life, look at what aspect of your life or your career is drawing you back, and sit down and write out the practical steps you can take to bring you back on track. We want you to do this and share your learnings with us. This is the leadership platform. We are here to learn. We don't want you to just come on the platform, listen, just go, and next week you come. But we want you to take practical steps, apply some of the things you are learning here so that you can give us feedback of what this platform has done for you. And on that note, I'm going to ask Muna to give us her last word, and then we will let you all go. Thank you so much. Muna, what will be your final words to us?
Okay, so my final words will be, don't wait for things to happen to you. Go out there and make things happen so that you can make an impact. Thank you.
Great. That is really amazing. Muna, we want to, Miriam, Muna, we want to thank you so much. So much. It's been really amazing. It's been amazing, amazing. Tuozaafi, people will say, when you say go and say Tuozaafi, me, I've gone to university and I have to go and say Tuozaafi. Guys, can you see what you can do with ordinary things? We just want to encourage you. You know, people are doing sugarcane. Can you do something differently? People are selling oranges on the street everywhere. Can you do something differently? Can you think and learn from Muna? Thank you so much. There's a lot of amazing and awesome and great on the comment side. And so we want to thank you. We are honored to have you on the leadership platform. And for all of you who were able to join us, we hope you've picked one or two things that you're going to implement and change your leadership life. Our objective is to help everybody to lead better, to make yourself better, and to, unearth your potential. God bless all of you. Have a very good night. And as I always say, tomorrow is Sunday. Look for opportunity to serve God and to serve humanity. God bless you. Muna, thank you very much. God bless you.
This is Miriam Bedu, CEO of Muna Tuozzaafi. I realized that most of the focus was on the rice dishes, and most of them were packaged very nicely. But when you research into Tuozaafi, which is a delicacy by the Northerners, I'm a Northerner, and having those roots, I thought it's intriguing to at least venture into that kind of business. With this Muna Pack concept, there's so much excitement on the market. Anyone who has seen it is so fascinated by the packaging. The pack alone is inviting.